Hello guys! Once again, I'm the Philadelphia Whovian, and welcome back to another video of mine on Doctor Who. This list, I said, let me do a list of episodes that are just like my top guilty pleasures. What I mean by guilty pleasures is, there are episodes that a lot of people just don't really like at all. But you know what? Something about them I enjoy watching. I'm aware they're probably not that great. Some of them, I don't care that they're not that great. Um, but there's just something about them I enjoy watching over and over again. And that's another thing about Doctor Who. There are some episodes that are hailed as being like the best of the best. They're the awesome ones. They're the best. Um, After watching them a couple times, I'm like, "Oh, I wouldn't really watch them again. That's just me. But there are some episodes that are hailed as absolutely awful. They are terrible. But I watch them over and over again. I never get sick of them. Um, so here comes just some list of classic Who and new Who episodes that usually get hate or not considered very good, but I just really, really, really like. Okay, so starting with the first Doctor, the Edge of Destruction. It's in the beginning, set that I have of his. Now, some people are perfectly fine with Edge of Destruction. I think I put on my list because I don't really hear that much about it. Like usually I hear about the Daleks, an earthly child, and then the Aztecs from that season. Maybe even some people talk about Marco Polo, despite that's completely missing, or the Reign of Terror, but not the Edge of Destruction. It often gets overlooked. I really like it. I think it's a very, unique idea. The idea they're all in the TARDIS and they're all going paranoid. They actually don't even really know what the heck is really going on. And the Doctor's just awful in it sometimes. He wants to kick Ian and Barbara out. Susan, she gets a little violent because she's thinking, something has completely messed up their brain. And it's just the entire time, it's the TARDIS just telling them something is wrong. I just think that is a very bold idea, or it's a different type of idea. Also, like I said before, my top 10th Doctor videos, I feel like this might have been the inspiration behind the episode of Midnight. That's a theory. There's nothing to prove that, but I really do think maybe Edge of Destruction just might have been the precursor to Midnight, and Midnight gets a lot of love. So that's the truth. If it turns out that the Edge of Destruction was, what gave Midnight inspiration, I think it deserves credit just for that. Now, an episode that people just hate. I get why, guys. I get why. I just like sometimes watching from the Third Doctor era, The Curse of Peladin. I know this is where y'all doubt probably my, you know, sanity. I know. I know. I know. But okay, and I admit again this is not the best episode, but hear me out why I like it. Because man, do I love watching Joe Grant and the Doctor in this. The Third Doctor and Joe Grant, I love them both. I mean, sometimes he says things that hurts her feelings, but the Doctor always does that with his companions. He says things to hurt their feelings. And sometimes they say things to hurt his feelings. It happens. But they have such chemistry. And in this story, 3 and Joe, where the TARDIS gets knocked out, falls down a cliff, and you see it fall down a cliff. Then Joe's like, when they get to they actually get escorted, into the palace. She's like, yeah, the pilot was dreadful. And the Third Doctor just looks at her like, you're talking about me. He thinks it, but he just doesn't say it. But of course she was talking about him. And she would just want to get back to Earth so she could go on a date. But no, she's stuck here. And, you know, she's brave and all that again. And sometimes she's so brave, she doesn't do the right thing. And the Doctor, like when he does that nursery rhyme to the creature, again, I'm aware this is not the best story. But darn it if I don't like Joe Grant and the Doctor in it. Now, a guilty pleasure from the Fourth Doctor era. I'm sure there are some other episodes that maybe might be considered guilty pleasures from his era I just haven't seen yet. But the one that I'm going to choose, I think, is from his very second season, The Planet of Evil. Now, there are some people, like if you go on Amazon, there are people who love this story and give it great reviews. But overall, when it comes to the mood of, the fan base and what I see from like, reviewers who love to review things, on, other, websites and critics, the Planet of Evil is always regarded as the worst of that season. Some people even call it just downright crap. All right, I'm aware it's not as good as Terror of the Zygons. I'm aware it's not as good as The Seeds of Doom. I'm aware of this. But you know what? I enjoy the Planet of Evil. I enjoy the idea of, the Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith go to this planet and just it's completely affecting their mind, and then it's consists of antimatter, and you have this other team who went there to get the antimatter to help their planet, but it just completely screwed up everything, screwed up their minds, and one goes crazy because it kill his own crew. I'm fine with that. I, Again, fine. If you don't consider this to be the best story, I understand it, but totally please understand why those of us love the Planet of Evil. It just does so many things I do enjoy. Also, man, does it look good. Like whoever was the scenic designer and the lighting designer for this story and the director, you three did a fantastic job on this story. I saw your effort into this story. Now for the Fifth Doctor era. Oh, this episode is hailed as so crappy, but there's something about Warriors of the Deep that I really do enjoy. Okay, I think the main reason people do not like this story is because of the bad special effects, and they are bad. But you know what? I don't watch Doctor Who. Again, I don't watch Doctor Who for good special effects. I don't. I don't watch Doctor Who for its incredible special effects. I watch it for the story. And overall, Warriors of the Deep, I don't see what's so bad about this story, the story itself, like the writing. I don't see what's so terrible about it. It could be favorite, nostalgia for me. This is the very first, Fifth Doctor story I did see. It is. And it did have this classic feel to me because of it. So I could be in error. It could just be, me, letting my nostalgia get the best of me. But the main criticism I hear about this story is simply the special effects, and I'm not going to hold that over the episode. I haven't held it over other episodes. There was bad special effects in those episodes. I didn't care that much about that. I didn't. So I'm not going to hold that against this episode. I mean, those episodes, I'm not going to hold it up against this episode. And from the Sixth Doctor era, I'm just gonna say, yeah, Time Lash and the Trial of a Time Lord. Those episodes are hailed as absolute crap. The reason I'm not gonna go into much detail about those is because I did put that on in my list of my top 5 favorite of the Sixth Doctor era. That's why I'm not really talking about those that much. But there are 2 from the Sixth Doctor era are my guilty pleasures. Now, from the Seventh Doctor era, from his very first season, Paradise Towers. Okay, I think this story is written by Stephen Wyatt, or Stephen Wyatt, let me see. Yes, written by Stephen Wyatt, who did other things. I think he even wrote The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, which is a story that many people love, and I absolutely adore Greatest Show in the Galaxy. But Paradise Towers, amongst the Seventh Doctor's first season, it's not really regarded as being very good. His entire first season is often hailed as being kind of weak. I see where you're coming from, okay? But I do overall enjoy watching the Seventh Doctor's first season. Okay, you know what? I'm not perfect, or I have a wide range of things I like. I also am a person who is overall easy to please. That's why when I don't like something, oh, I really don't like it. I don't like it because it's like I'm easy to please. But Paradise Towers, okay, the idea of a building just turning into this pure hell, and it's called Paradise Towers. For me, this is a concept of dystopian ideas. The idea of a building, just like, people went there for this idealistic, getaway to get away from the problem, and it was supposed to be beautiful and an ideal place, and it turns into a pure hellhole. like pure hellhole. You have older people who eat the young people they catch. You have the young women becoming gangs, and these gangs where they set up, and it's all innocent fun, but then they began to be eaten by the cleaners. And the cleaners are, being ordered around by the super head guy who is feeding the building. It's a classic dystopian concept. And like this in The Beast Below, I think Doctor Who is actually, I know Beast Below is also not well regarded of a story. I think it's very, very underrated. Even Moffat, I think, needs to give his own story more credit in that regard. Uh-huh. But with Paradise Towers and like The Beast Below, I feel like you have this Doctor Who is the best when it comes to writing these dystopian or not ideal worlds that are going to crap, or the totalitarianism, militant like society is not militant, but it has that totalitarian concept. Because here's the thing about dystopian movies. You need someone who enters that world who is not experienced with that world, so they can ask all the questions that we as an audience need them to ask to understand what this world is about and what's happening in it. And the problem a lot of times when you have dystopian books get adapted to films is because the lead character is already immersed in that world, he or she doesn't ask the questions that we as an audience need them to ask to understand what's happening. But in Paradise Towers and like The Beast Below, we have the Doctor and companion who are not used to that world, so they do ask the questions we need them to ask. But again, that's I understand people do not like Paradise Towers. I think it's very underrated. I think there are some really good ideas in Paradise Towers. Actually, I have another guilty pleasure episode from the Seventh Doctor era. It's from his second season. This is hailed as the worst episode of the Seventh Doctor's second season. I don't care. Literally, I'm the only person in the world who likes this story. Silver Nemesis. I I never not have fun when I'm watching this story. Again, an emphasis on the word fun. I have fun watching Silver Nemesis. Between Lady Painforge, who I think is the most underrated villain of the history of Doctor Who, I think Lady Painforge was such a good villain. I mean, mostly it's because of the actress who played her. I admit that. But she's great. So what? I know they're like, oh, we're riding on the waves of time. She drinks a potion to time travel. It's like, come on, what's up with that? Well, you know what? This is sci-fi. They're not. To me, the rules are. The rules are that the rules of the sci-fi show Doctor Who is that there's a lot of bending of rules. So I don't hold that against it because she drank a potion to ride through time. I don't. I think the Nemesis is a very well designed, her design was very good. She was haunting to me. The way she was all bright, I like that. And the Doctor and Ace in this, fantastic. Again, the Doctor and Ace are almost always good together. But this, I thought they were very good together. And when Ace is fighting off the Cybermen to protect the Doctor, I think she is incredible. In that, like, when she takes on all the Cybermen with the gold coins, with her boomerang, that's Ace is a badass. Ace, you are a badass. Yes, freaking love you, Ace. And again, yes, there are people like, oh, the Cybermen are in this as an afterthought. Whatever. I like Cybermen in the Classic Who. I like him in this. Like him in everything. In Classic Who, pretty much. Um, what's the other negative? Oh yeah, the idea of Lady Painfort and her sister walking through modern day London. I think it's a cool image, or modern day England, really, is a cool image because they were amusing because it was fish out of water concepts. Let's see, is there anything else I'm forgetting before I pass on to the next entry? Because I think I got a hold of everything when it came to Silver Nemesis. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I know this is hailed as absolutely awful, but man, I dig it. Okay, now on to New Who. Oh, my guilty pleasures episodes. Back to series 3 of New Who. Whoo, series 3. Now, either people overall love this season, or they absolutely hate it, or they think except for like 5 episodes, the whole season just sucks. I'm a weird person. Some of my favorite episodes are hailed as the worst ones in the season. Y'all have seen that if y'all saw my top 10 10th Doctor episodes. But episodes that are hailed as absolutely crappy, like I'm not going to talk about 42, Smith and Jones, Shakespeare Code, and Gridlock because they were on my top 10, 10th Doctor, review. Yeah, I know. Everyone hates those stories. I like them. But the episode I'm going to talk about from series 3, I never get bored watching this story. The Lazarus Experiment. Yes, this is an episode that gets so much hell for its bad CGI monster, for being absolutely boring. But there's something about it I very much enjoy. Very much enjoy. And what also has to be, about this episode, even though it's a small detail, is that people always say that, Martha kept chasing after the doctor like a lovesick puppy. Okay, like this story, like many other stories, it shows how the doctor kind of chased after Martha as much as she chased after him, just in a different way. The doctor kept clinging to Martha. He's the one who kept coming back to Martha. He's the one who kept on, like, saying, one trip and you get back, but oh, let's extend it to one more trip. Come on, Martha, get back, get back in the TARDIS. Come on, come on. He's the one who keeps doing that. So people are always talking about Martha's neediness, but the doctor was needier, and he was needy from the beginning. Their neediness was a mutual thing, actually, in this. And this episode shows it when, he leaves, then he comes back 5 seconds later. He's a time machine. He could have gone and investigated that whole, machine that helps you become young, the Lazarus Experiment, machine by himself. He didn't. He came back 5 seconds later for Martha and kept clinging to her the entire rest of the episode. And needing her to help him do things, needing her to work his sonic screwdriver. I don't even remember her ever touching a sonic screwdriver before, but oh, Martha can work it because she's Martha, and that's the doctor's mentality is Martha can do anything. And then the Lazarus at the end of it, oh, he asked her, he's like, come on, Martha, one more trip. She's the one who says, no, never mind, because it's not really fair. You keep treating me like a passenger. And he's the one who gives in. He will have her be with him no matter what, what the cost. He's the one who actually he's the one who kind of clings to her in some ways too. So it's a mutual neediness between them. People blame Martha for this, but the doctor actually was it too. They're both in this situation together in a very awkward place, which I enjoy watching. I'm strange for that, I know, but I do. And I like Lazarus. I like the idea of a machine making you young again. Someone trying to attain that. That's an immortal concept. Also, on this, I do not hate Daleks in Manhattan and Evolution of the Daleks. I understand why it's not the best story in the world. I know why. But it's not terrible either. There's a lot of good stuff in that one too. I really do feel. All right, now for my last entry of my guilty pleasures list. Yeah, this is where you're probably going to just completely think I'm bonkers and lose all respect for my opinion, but though, what can you do? Pretty much almost all of Series 7, Part 2. From Snowmen to the Name of the Doctor. Guys, what can I do? All right? What can I do? I like it. I watch so many episodes in Series 7, Part 2, and I watch them over and over again. Again, it's about rewatchability for me. Something about the Snowmen is one of my favorite Christmas specials. I have so much fun watching the Snowmen. I really enjoy watching it. The Bells of St. John, oh my gosh, it is so fun to me. I just enjoy the Bells of St. John a great deal, and it's nice to see the great intelligence. Just, you saw him in the Snowman, you see him again in the Bells of St. John. You know he's going to come back. And then the Rings of Akaton. Sometimes I like the idea just of alien going to a different place and then seeing all these aliens and the speech at the very end. Something about the Rings of St. John. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Sorry, the Rings of Akaton. That's beautiful to me. It just is. Then Cold War. Now, again, I said before, initially I did not like Cold War, but over time, as I gotten more into the Ice Warriors from Classic Who and gone back to this episode, I really do enjoy it. I actually do. I've learned to really appreciate it. Then comes Hyde. I said it's my top 10, 11th Doctor list. I love it. Then Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. This is an episode that gets a lot of hate, but no one ever tells me why it's bad. They just say it is, and we're supposed to agree with it. But there are a lot of good moments in here. The idea of the doctor is like, he's like, salvage of a lifetime. You meant the ship, I meant Clara. And then this whole journey was about him going to save Clara, and that's what it really was. And then they're together, and then they're in the room with the Eye of Harmony, and then time reasserts itself, and those two guys get turned into the monster, and then he confronts Clara about meeting her over and over again, and then they get to the heart of the TARDIS, and Clara holds Eleven's hand when he's like helpless, like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, Clara. She holds his hand. There are just so many beautiful moments in this. At the end, he wants to know if Clara feels safe traveling with him. I like that he asked Clara that. He wants her to feel safe. And then you've got the Crimson Horror, another episode that get in my top 10 list. I think it's very underrated. Nightmare in Silver, don't get me wrong, guys. I know Nightmare in Silver is not very good, but something about it I watch anyway. I just do. And then comes also the Name of the Doctor. I know this ending is flawed. I know it's a flawed season finale, but boy, do I enjoy watching it. I explained why in my 11th Doctor video. I'm not going to go too much detail about it here, but yep. Oh god, these are my guilty pleasures, guys. I mean, I probably have more guilty pleasures that I'm just forgetting about. But these are episodes, darn it, I never get, I enjoy watching them. I do have a fun time. I acknowledge they're not perfect. I know they're not perfect. I know it. I trust me, I do, okay? I do. But sometimes another man's trash is another man's treasure. I'm sorry, one man's trash is another man's treasure. It's all subjective. And as a person, I actually am one of those people who I kind of like being easy to please. So, guys, this is my guilty pleasures, video of the episodes of Doctor Who that I like, but no one else does. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. What are your favorite guilty pleasures episodes? What are the ones that you guys like? Oh, another one I almost forgot about. I came to forget about this. Guilty pleasures: Victory of the Daleks. Yes, the Daleks like Power Ranger colors. But I'm not going to become Dalek racist and hate them because of the color of their shells. I'm not. I enjoy the rest of the story. So, thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. And have a nice evening.